In today's video, I want to go over the sales process and how you manage it in Salesforce, from the moment that you have a sales qualified lead that is going to enter your pipeline all the way through to close, won, or lost. How we should break this up stage by stage, how our analytics should relate to this, and how we're going to use these analytics to coach our sales team to make improvements, to do better forecasting, and also to make data-driven decisions about where we need to invest money in sales and marketing as we grow our team and seek to grow revenue for the company. Let me start with one of the fundamentals. We need to have very clear definitions on what qualifies as a sales qualified lead and what qualifies for each stage in the process. The reason this is so important is that if you have one sales rep that thinks that stage 2 means this and another stage rep that thinks it means something else, then when you run a report, what you see is a bunch of sales opportunities with no real confidence in your ability to forecast what those might result in terms of revenue. And it's very difficult to compare your sales reps and coach them on where they can improve the most and where their strengths lie. It's difficult to go to one rep and say, hey, from this stage to that stage, your conversion rate is not as high as it could be. Let's look at what this person is doing and let's share some best practices. Every single sales team that I've ever worked with has different stages that are defined differently, and that's okay. The key element here is just making sure that you have a clear definition that is understood by every single person on your team. But for the purposes of illustration, I want to share a very, very generic set of stages that I use internally here at Union Square Consulting and that mostly matches the sales stages that they have at Salesforce. It starts with qualification, moves on to discovery, then presentation or demonstration, then proposal, negotiation, verbal, and then close, won, or lost. Now, let me share with you what these stages mean for me personally and how it's relevant to Salesforce and the sales process. Qualification means a deal that's not yet in our pipeline. We haven't talked to them enough yet to know if they have a real need that we can serve, if they want to solve that problem within a timeline that is reasonable for our sales cycle, and if we're gonna have access to key stakeholders, and if they might have budget, or if our pricing might fit in the ballpark of their budget. Without that, we don't put deals into our sales pipeline, and then we don't forecast revenue based on it because we really don't know anything yet. But once we've actually put something into our pipeline, this is where we're going to start to run deep discovery. And we're going to get to know the customer at an intimate level and start to understand exactly what they're going to need to see in the next step, which would be the demonstration or the presentation. The reason that this is important is because demonstrations and presentations take up a tremendous amount of time. And we want to create this gate that's not only for the analytics in Salesforce, but also for our sales process itself, so that we can save ourselves time by making sure that we've conducted deep discovery and confirmed with the customer that we understand their needs and that if we can solve their needs, they're committed to making some kind of a decision, even if it's a no decision, to justify the time that we're going to invest in this process. As we move the opportunity in Salesforce into that presentation or demonstration stage, we may need to loop other stakeholders into the process. This was certainly the case when I worked at Salesforce, when we had sales engineers, product specialists, management, etc., that all needed to come to the table and consume a tremendous amount of man hours. As we move into that stage, those other folks are starting to ask us questions like, does our pricing fit the ballpark for their budget? Do we have access to key stakeholders? Have we run proper discovery with those key stakeholders? And are they committed to making a decision in a reasonable period of time? If all of those lights are green, or at least a few of them, we have permission to move forward. And now our forecast gets updated as we look at it across the sales team, across the region, and across the entire company. And this type of rigor is what has enabled Salesforce to keep their forecasting across a $20+ billion enterprise within plus or minus 5% accuracy every month and every quarter. As we move into that presentation or demonstration, we start to burn up a lot of time. And oftentimes what happens is that one or more key stakeholders are either not present or don't see what they need to see. And we need to confirm with them if they need to see more before they're ready for a proposal. If we're gonna then go to our pricing team and we're gonna ask for discounts, if we're gonna ask for special concessions, or if we're just simply gonna spend a lot of time putting together a proposal, we should really confirm with the client or the customer that they have seen what they need to see in the demonstration or presentation and that they're still interested in potentially moving forward, subject to seeing pricing that fits their needs. Otherwise, why are we spending time on this? If we do get that confirmation and we move into pricing, we've already confirmed earlier in the process that we're in the ballpark on budget, and we have a deep understanding of their needs from conducting thorough discovery. We've given them a presentation that resonates with them and they feel that our solution is a fit for their needs. And now we're going into the proposal knowing that we're already in the ballpark. And if we propose something in that ballpark that's attractive, we can hopefully win their business. So when we're looking at an opportunity in our pipeline that's at this proposal stage, we should have a very, very high close rate from there. If we're working with a sales rep and we find that they're going and they're asking for discounts from management and our pricing team, and then yet only closing 20% of these, or that these deals are still sitting around months and months and months or quarters and quarters later when we have a short sales cycle that's 30, 60, 90 days, then we really need to ask what's going on here. And this is an opportunity to coach our sales reps on how we can improve this process. And the benefit is that we improve our forecasting. We're also saving the sales rep time by not investing time in prospects that are not ready to make a decision, and encouraging them to say, hey, look, these guys aren't ready. You need to figure out how to get them ready, or you need to move on to another prospect. As we go from that proposal into the negotiation, now we're getting really, really deep into the deal cycle, and we should have really solid confirmation from our key stakeholders and decision makers that we're very close to the pin here. Finally, we get a verbal. Our verbal is just the intermediate step between that and actually closing out the deal and getting our signature. Managing our process with this rigor allows management to look at the pipeline across the entire organization and to get a very clear picture of what our forecast might look like. When we combine this with manual forecasting, where each sales rep is going deal by deal by deal and saying, yes, I understand this is in a stage of negotiation, but I'm told by the customer that we're up against 3 other competitors and maybe not in the lead here. I don't have a good feeling about this. And this deal, we're only in the discovery stage, but we're the only vendor, and they've told me numerous times that they're committed to making a decision. I feel confident about this deal. We now can combine our quantitative data with our qualitative data and get a very, very accurate forecast. We also can work on our sales cycle so that we can reduce our sales cycle time by asking reps where they're spending time and what stages and how we can streamline that. We have the opportunity to review our process and see if there's something that we can do in terms of our business process or our technology to streamline things and move deals faster. Things as simple as implementing an electronic signature like DocuSign might move us from a verbal to a closed one faster and result in more revenue. And let's not forget that sales cycle can have a massive impact on your revenue in the current year by simply closing deals in December that you might have otherwise closed in January. I hope this video was helpful. If you'd like to learn more, reach out to me to schedule a meeting and/or check out some of our other videos on our website, LinkedIn, or YouTube.